Our series begins with Xian, and the girl who was with her asked her to hand over her ID card. At that moment, our heroine, Faye, remembered the first time she ever started imagining her life in her notebook, completely separate from her real-life situation. She used to imagine that she had the best dad in the world. However, the reality was totally different. Her father didn't want her because she was born with a congenital heart defect, and he couldn't afford the cost of her treatment. But her grandmother told him, "If you won't raise her, I will." The second time she imagined her life was when she was 18 and went to get a new ID. She decided to change her name from Xian to Xiaoyan, but this time, she decided to make her fantasies a reality and actually become Xiaoyan, the daughter of a rich family. She did this to repay the kindness of the grandmother who raised her. So, let me tell you what happens in detail. In a very luxurious house, our heroine was sitting with her supposed mom and dad because Xiaoming, who is smitten with her, was bringing his parents over. They were all going to meet so the families could get acquainted, as he wants to marry her. Of course, you'll ask me how she's sitting with her mom and dad when they actually abandoned her. But if you just bear with me, I'll tell you everything. They aren't her actual parents. She's just hired them for this one night and that's it. She even coached them on how to pronounce the name of the university they would lie about graduating from because they're uneducated and don't know English. It's necessary that if she's going to lie and say she has wealthy parents, they must be graduates of a prestigious international university. The man pretending to be her father was actually able to pronounce the university name correctly because she had drilled him on it really well. But Xiaoming's mother, who wants him to marry our heroine, was already a bit suspicious of them. She told them, "I know that university very well. I visited it before, but the cafeteria there doesn't have good food. So when I went outside, there was a Chinese duck restaurant that I really liked. What was its name? I can't remember." At that moment, everyone looked at each other because that question was a major landmine. However, our heroine is too smart to let them trip her up with something like that. She had taken them specifically to that university to teach them everything about it, as if they had actually studied there. So the woman pretending to be her mother replied, "It's true that there's a Chinese restaurant across from the university, but it's not a duck restaurant. It's a tofu restaurant. It seems your information about the restaurants there is mistaken." Xiaoming's mother replied, "You're right, I could be mistaken." But then she asked them another irritating question. She said that when she looked up their names at the university, she discovered they weren't employed there at all, despite what they claimed. But our heroine said that they are researchers at the university's research institute, and the institute doesn't release information about the people who work there. The man pretending to be her father then said, "To be honest, we're not looking for fame. That's why I like my life to be very private." Then he mentioned he had brought her and her husband-to-be 2 books he'd authored and signed them for them. But he didn't write them, not even close. They actually stole the name of a researcher at that university and brought his signed book. But Xiaoming's mother noticed that the second book, the one she had, wasn't signed like her son's, so she asked him to sign it for her. He took it and signed it easily because our heroine knows the real researcher personally. She had met him before and gotten his signature, and of course, the man pretending to be her father had been practicing that signature all night long, so he could sign it when she asked him to. Thankfully, after all those interrogations, the lady finally calmed down and felt completely relieved. Then the men left and talked outside by themselves. But Xiaoming's mother took our heroine to have a private chat. She asked her, "What did you think of the food our chef prepared?" Our heroine replied, "Honestly, it was a masterpiece." But the mom looked surprised and said, "That's strange. You didn't eat the eggs he served. It looks like you don't like them. But it's clear that your mother doesn't know you dislike eggs because she put a lot of them on your plate for lunch." Then she looked her in the eye and suddenly asked, "Tell me the truth. Are they your real parents? Or are you lying to us?" Xiaoyan tried to compose herself and said, "To be honest, I did lie to you. My grandmother raised me. My parents traveled abroad and left me alone. They don't know anything about me, but I tried my best to make it look like my family was very devoted just so you wouldn't get the wrong idea about me. Unfortunately, I didn't get any love or affection from them. All I got was the worst of it. Oh, please, don't play the victim, girl." Honestly, Xiaoming's mother was touched by this tale of hardship and was almost brought to tears. She told her, "I feel for you, but I don't want this to affect you because you are about to become a part of our family." After Shuyan had calmed down, she got a call from the channel where she works as a program planner. They told her that her request to host the new program she was planning had been rejected. The pushy program presenter she hates had objected and wanted to host the show herself. But our heroine isn't going to let her get away with it easily. She's the kind of person who demands her rights, no compromises. Anyway, after that, she took her fake parents and dropped them off at a hotel until the wedding preparations were complete. She told them she didn't want any trouble coming from them and that they had to be careful. They told her, "Don't worry, we'll be very quiet. Even if you see us in the street later, you won't recognize us and neither will your family because our look without these clothes is completely different." She left feeling like her life was just a series of lies, but she had worked so hard to make those lies a strong wall to protect her life. The next day, she went to the TV channel, working hard and diligently. Suddenly, she asked everyone, "Where's the presenter who's hosting the show? Why is she late?" Then that aggressive presenter walked in and said, "Why are you talking about me so lightly? Did you forget who you are? You're just a planner. Is it because you're marrying a rich guy now? Forget about getting married, though. He'll just amuse himself with you for a month or two and then dump you." Our heroine felt completely insulted by her words, but she decided right then and there that she would prove her wrong. That night, while Shuyan was working, Xiaoming was tracking her and told her, "I got you the number for the client you wanted to contact." She was very happy and said, "Thank you, my love, but how did you know my work schedule?" He said, "Because I put a spy among your colleagues to keep tabs on you." At that point, she became seriously worried that he might know something about her lie. So she decided to ask him, "Did your parents like mine?" He replied, "Of course they liked them, and I liked them too." Suddenly, he took off her glasses and leaned closer to her. She felt like she genuinely loved him because he had the qualities of the ideal husband she had long dreamed of marrying, someone who would rescue her from her pitiable life. Of course, you all want to know now how they met and how he fell in love with her. I'll tell you because I never hide anything from you. One day, the TV channel she worked for required her to go and interview Xiaoming because he owns a very famous cactus brand. But he doesn't meet with just anyone, and he doesn't appear on television. Because of this, she decided to get close to him by applying for a job at the place he had just opened, hoping to learn more about cacti. When she went, he asked her, "What makes you want to work here?" She replied, "Because I love cacti. I mean, even before the dinosaurs became extinct, the cactus was there, among the mountains, rocks, wind, and rain. This forced it to adapt to survive in a different environment. Honestly, everyone has their own perspective on plants, and we don't all have to see the same thing." This made him pull a chair and sit closer to her. He said, "I have to say, I like your perspective. You can start working here tomorrow, Ms. Xiaoyan." She was shocked because he knew her real name. This meant that he knew she wasn't there just to work. Then he confirmed it, saying, "I know perfectly well that you were trying to get close to me to do that interview for your show." She said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lie, but I really wanted to do that interview with you." But he told her, "Even so, I still liked what you said about the cactus because it was inspiring to me." She told him, "I brought you a gift too. It's a pair of scissors. I hope you always use them to prune your plants." When he saw them, he said, "Wow, these are very rare scissors." He thanked her for the gift and said, "Because of that, I'll give you a gift before you leave as well." The next day, she went to work still feeling unwell. The poisonous presenter came up to her and started chewing her out. She said, "You still haven't managed to get that interview? You're always useless like this." But miraculously, just a little while after she scolded her, Xiaoming sent her a message saying she could come to his company for the interview tomorrow. She was surprised that he had a company. She just thought he was a brand owner, nothing more. But it turned out he was the son of the owner of the biggest company in the country. This made her look at him differently, especially when she went for the interview day, walked into the meeting, and sat inside waiting. She saw how responsible he was, how respected he was by everyone, and that he held an important position. He was truly the man who could take care of her. Even during the meeting, he noticed she was cold because her clothes were revealing, so he had them turn off the air conditioning. And instead of her being the one who was cold, everyone else, him and his employees, got hot because they were all wearing suits. But anything goes for the pretty girl. After his meeting was over, he found her asleep. He went to apologize for being late, but as she tried to get up, she fainted because she had been running a fever since the previous day. When he took her to the hospital, he told the nurse to go easy on her while inserting the IV. That night, our heroine woke up and apologized to him, telling him he could leave and she would take care of herself. But he refused and gave her water to drink, telling her she needed to stay hydrated. Then she noticed a medical patch on his hand. He told her that when the nurse removed the IV, he was afraid it might bleed, so he got her that patch. At that moment, she realized how wonderful and kind of a person he was. From then on, they became a couple. One day, he brought her to his mother and said, "Mom, I'd like to introduce you to my fiancé, Xiaoyan." His mother told her, "I'm so happy to meet you today. He's always talking about you." She then asked him to go sit with his father, who wanted him, and leave our heroine with her. Honestly, I wish he hadn't left her because that was the beginning of the curse. Honestly, as soon as our heroine sat down, she felt tense and wasn't acting naturally. On top of that, one of Xiaoming's mother's friends suddenly showed up, so Xiaoyan stood up to offer her the seat. Now, this could be seen as a kind gesture from our heroine, but it made Xiaoming's mother feel that Xiaoyan was a girl from a middle-class family. In her view, if Xiaoyan had the self-confidence and arrogance of other rich girls, she wouldn't have given up her seat for anyone. So she didn't see it as a positive thing, even though Xiaoyan was just trying to be respectful and seat the woman. Even when the maid was clearing the dishes, our heroine decided to help her and carry some things. This only confirmed Xiaoming's mother's suspicions. In the kitchen, the maid told our heroine, "I feel like you are different from all the women who come here. For example, your hair is dry and not soft like the other girls. She replied, that's because the nature of my work keeps me too busy to go to the salon. Suddenly, her future mother-in-law came in and told the maid to leave, and then told our heroine, the dessert hasn't been brought out yet. Please bring it, and then you can leave. I'll let my son know you've gone. Although the situation was embarrassing and our heroine felt like she was being treated like a servant in the house, she endured the arrogance. Before their next meeting, she decided to go get her hair done at the salon. Then she went to meet her looking sharp. As soon as Xiaoming's mother arrived, Xiaoyan personally opened the menu for her. This was her second mistake. She shouldn't have done that or opened anything for her. But what's done is done. Anyway, the vicious mother was waiting for a girl from a wealthy family who works in a bank. She sat and talked to her about her achievements and her family's achievements, and then the girl left. Then another woman came, a lawyer. The mother also sat and talked about her and her family's achievements. After that woman left as well, the nasty mother turned to Xiaoyan and asked, what do you think of those girls? They're the ones I'd like my son to marry. They have pedigree and good backgrounds. Besides that, they're comfortable. They don't have to prove anything to me. Unlike you, you're constantly tense and you tolerate too much. And that's your problem. No self-confident girl tolerates anything like that. Unless, of course, she has some kind of deficiency and is trying to compensate for it somehow. That's why I want you to break up with my son. At that moment, Xiaoyan remembered when she was little and the kids would make fun of her, saying she didn't have any parents. She would cry and tell them, it's not fair. My parents are traveling abroad and they'll come back. So, my poor dear, she developed a trauma from that. But before the mother could leave, Xiaoyan stopped her and said, my parents work as doctors at a very famous university abroad, but I don't like to mention them because it's too embarrassing to brag about my parents' successes in front of people. I believe I have to achieve my own success. And if I tolerate things, I tolerate them because I love Xiaoming, not for any other reason. And honestly, I have no intention of leaving him because I love him. At that, the mother was speechless and didn't know how to respond. And this is where the big lie started, the one Xiaoyan won't be able to back out of. One day, that venomous mother had an appointment with Xiaoyan to look at houses together. When she was picking out a house with her friend, the girl there asked her, who is this house for? She replied, my son is getting married, so I'm buying it for him. But the girl was very curious and asked, who is he marrying? The wicked mother looked at Xiaoyan, and she was a little pleased because at least the mother was considering her. But her future mother-in-law asked her for her opinion on the houses. She said, why don't we ask Xiaoming? That would be better. But the mother refused and said he was busy and that they would choose the house. But suddenly, she handed Xiaoyan the papers and said, isn't your father a doctor at a famous university abroad? And doesn't he teach architectural engineering? Why don't you have him choose the most suitable one from these? Xiaoyan held the papers, feeling very nervous. But what saved her was that Xiaoming suddenly showed up and said, what's going on, Mom? You're actually here buying a house without telling me? I forgot to tell you, I already bought a house, but I wanted to make it a surprise for my sweetheart. She asked him, who told you we were here? Your sweetheart too? But he told her, no, the driver told me you were here, so I came to see you and take my sweetheart away. I actually missed her. Thank goodness he took her away before his mother could drive her crazy. At her house, Xiaoming was cooking for our heroine and told her to come taste it. On top of that, he had brought her a watch as a gift because he knew his mother had stressed her out recently and had been hanging out with her the whole time. Despite all this, Xiaoyan hadn't complained to him or said anything. She asked him, are you giving me a gift because I was enduring things? He said, my darling, I will bring you everything in the world because you deserve it. She replied, here, take a bite. You are so sweet too. Then he told her, you know you want to be the presenter for the program you're planning, but another presenter took the show from you, so I don't want you to worry. I'll take care of this for you. But she refused and told him that she wanted to reach that goal through her own effort. He replied, well, she didn't reach it through her own effort either. Her family is supporting her, so let me support you too. She was very happy with his attention because she felt that she truly had someone by her side. She told him, don't worry about me. I will try to get this job. I want you to trust me. Frankly, our heroine truly loves him because he is the one who, for the first time, made her feel like she was an important person. One day, our heroine went to her future mother-in-law, bringing her a scarf as a gift, but they all made fun of it because her mother-in-law doesn't like those colors. Even though they mocked it, Xiaoming's third friend, Meng, came over and said, but this scarf is 100% silk. Even if you don't like the color, the quality is exquisite. At that, the other two friends told her, your taste is really bad. Don't rush into this marriage thing. It looks like our heroine needs to please her future mother-in-law's friends before she even pleases the mother-in-law herself. At the tennis court, Xiaoyan was standing there watching them play. After they finished, she started picking up the balls from the ground. around. But Meng, her mother-in-law's friend, told her there's no need to pick them up. The coach will collect them when he comes. But our heroine refused and thought it would be faster this way. Meng told her, don't put in too much effort, it could backfire and annoy them more. Xiaoyan thanked her for the advice. At that moment, a very rich woman arrived and everyone gathered around her because her husband owns one of the best companies in the country. They were all trying to get close to her just so she could help them reach a high status through her husband. Even Meng herself told our heroine, my husband needs resources from the rich woman's husband's company, and I've been trying to set up a meeting with her, but it's very difficult to meet someone like her because she is so arrogant. Because of this, our heroine decided to find out more information about the rich woman. She learned that she practices traditional Chinese dancing in a specific place. So Xiaoyan went to that place and decided to train as well. But this dance is very difficult. It can take a month to learn it. But our heroine trained day and night to the point that even at the TV station, she was practicing the dance moves with her hands. Her assistant was surprised and asked her, what are you doing? She told her, oh, nothing, just exercising. Until one day, while she was training, the rich woman was watching her. She asked the coach, who's that girl? I think she's very good. This is the first time I've seen her. The coach told her that she'd only been training there for a few days, and honestly, she was very smart and had managed to learn all the moves. Because of this, the rich woman went over to talk to her. She asked her, how did you learn this dance? Xiaoyan told her that she had loved it since childhood, which is why she came to learn it as a hobby, nothing more. The woman really liked her. She even learned from her that she works as a presenter for a cooking show, which made her like her even more. At the TV station, Xiaoyan went to her manager to tell him that she had come up with a groundbreaking new idea for the cooking show that would air soon. She planned to host the rich woman, but in return, she would present the show, since she was the one with the idea. Pitched the idea to the rich woman, who initially refused, but when she listened to our heroine's detailed plan for the program and how she would host important people with her, the woman liked the idea and agreed. And of course, among the people she would host was Meng, her future mother-in-law's friend. When she presented the first episode, she talked about their cooking skills and had them form teams to cook together. She put Meng with the rich woman so they could get along better. Of course, this made her even more impressive in the eyes of her mother-in-law's friends, especially Meng, who became very close to her after she participated in the show. Our heroine was now able to casually sit and have coffee with them after they had spent all that time throwing shade at her. After that, her mother-in-law also participated in the show, and it became a huge success. But this didn't change our heroine's attitude toward the people close to her. Quite the opposite. She helped her own friend, giving her the money she needed for her father's operation. At the TV station, our heroine was in the makeup room getting ready for the episode, to the extent that her rival presenter walked in all worked up. She told the makeup artist to start her makeup, but the artist told her, how can I start yours when your show is after Xiaoyan's? I should finish hers first. The rival started threatening her, saying, fine, if you won't do my makeup, then I'll just have you fired and we can be done with you. But our heroine told the artist, do her makeup first. I'll wait. Then she went out to get her bag. At that moment, our heroine told the pushy presenter, your makeup is going to melt if you leave it on for too long. It's not worth it. The presenter snapped back, just because you did a couple of episodes, are you going to talk back to me or something? But our heroine didn't back down and told her that at least the few episodes I did achieved success and ratings that none of your episodes have managed to reach. The presenter tried to downplay her effort, suggesting she only succeeded because of her rich fiance's support. But our heroine told her, you know very well that I reached everything with my team through my own effort because we have a clear vision for the show. Don't lie to yourself. As soon as our heroine left, the aggressive presenter asked her assistant, since when did she get so arrogant with us? And didn't she say she only had a grandmother? Where did the story about having a father and mother who teach abroad come from? Naturally, the seeds of doubt were sown. Then, as our heroine was standing outside, Xiaoming suddenly showed up to celebrate her and her success. He took her home and told her that he never imagined she would achieve this kind of success. But he was proud of her beyond measure. And because of that, he brought her a necklace as a gift. The next day, our heroine was gathered with Xiaoming's family, and her father-in-law was happy with her because she was smart and kind, until Xiaoming's little brother rushed in to turn on the TV because their father was on the news for becoming a district minister in the city of Shanxi. At that moment, our heroine saw another man talking about their efforts to develop that district. In reality, that man was her biological father. But suddenly, our heroine's father-in-law asked her, aren't you from Shanxi too? She replied, yes, my grandmother is from there. Anyway, one day as our heroine was leaving the company, she suddenly saw her older sister Xiaolin arriving. She got nervous and asked her, what are you doing here? But Xiaolin replied that she had called off her wedding and left her fiancé. Of course, she ran away because if her parents found out about something like that, they would tear into her. So she came to our heroine to find her a place to stay. She did take her along, but the problem was that Xiaoming was on his way to see her. Naturally, when he saw her sister next to her, he asked, who is she? She told him, she's my cousin who just got back from traveling. I was just about to take her to a hotel. At that, her sister was shocked that Xiaoyan was openly disowning her in front of her boyfriend like that. Of course, after Xiaoming left, Xiaolin was upset and asked her, why didn't you tell him we're sisters? Are you embarrassed by me? She refused to answer and took her to a hotel hotel to stay. After Xiaolin left, scenes from Xiaoyan's harsh childhood came to mind. So let me tell you the story from the beginning. As you know, Xiaoyan was born with a heart condition. This made her parents resent her existence because she would cost them a lot of money. So they left her with her grandmother. This is what made the kids bully her and say she didn't have a mother or father. But Xiaoyan would keep telling them, "My parents are traveling abroad," until her sister, Xiaolin, came to defend her. She told them, "She's my sister, leave her alone." From then on, when her grandmother found out, she went to her son and his wife to yell at them because Xiaoyan was being bullied because of them. So she felt like an outsider among them. For example, when her mother told her, "Come, let me take you to the bathroom," she replied, "Thank you, Mom, but I know how to go by myself." Even when her mother offered, "Come so I can change your clothes," she replied, "I also know how to change by myself." Unfortunately, she was a self-reliant child because she didn't find any affection from them.
This made her older sister the favorite in everything. For example, one time they were at home and the gas was left on. When their father returned, he smelled the gas, quickly grabbed her sister, and rushed downstairs with her, telling them to call an ambulance. But he forgot that our heroine was even there. She stayed upstairs, breathing in the gas until her mother came and remembered that our heroine was still up there. At that, they were horrified and rushed upstairs to save her. Even in the hospital, they only cared about her sister, leaving Shuyan lying on the bed next to them like that. Not only that, but later, when she was about to take the college entrance exam, her father went to her school. The teacher told him that Shuyan was very smart and would be able to get into any college she wanted. But he told her, "Unfortunately, I don't plan to let her continue her education because we don't have the money to pay her tuition." When she overheard this, she went inside crying and asked him, "Why don't you want me to take the exam?" He told her, "Because I'm your father and it's my right to decide anything that concerns you." She left him completely broken and yelled at him, "You'll let your daughter Xiaolin go to college, but not me? Why? What makes her better than me? Why do you treat me like this all the time and hate me? What did I do to you to deserve all this?" And honestly, she was right, because they hurt her so much until finally she told him, "I wish you weren't my father." He slapped her across the face then, and she snapped back to reality and ran out to go to her grandmother because in the end, she had no one else. Since then, she has completely cut off her mother and father because they don't deserve her. That night, she came home and Xiaoming hugged her, showing her the plant he loves, which is 60 years old, but it only blooms and flowers once in its lifetime. He wants to witness that moment with her because it's a special plant. It lives its whole life going through many different and difficult times until the moment comes when it opens up and then dies right after. It's as if it was waiting for that moment. She told him, "That's exactly like people. We meet, fall in love, get married, and have children. And as soon as our purpose is fulfilled, we die. But our love leaves a legacy behind us. Honestly, meeting you was the best thing that ever happened to me. I will do anything to stay by your side, and I hope you never regret choosing me one day." He replied, "I regret it right now because our wedding is next month. How could I be so foolish not to marry you sooner?" He moved closer to her and she felt like she owned the world. Meanwhile, our heroine's real family found out from Xiaolin's ex-fiancé that she had broken off her engagement. They decided to travel and find out where our heroine was living because she must have gone to her sister. She wouldn't just leave without a plan. Back with our heroine, she was with Xiaoming's family who were meeting her fake family, but suddenly our heroine's real family appeared near her house. They were looking for her sister who had broken off her engagement. The moment her heroine saw them, her heart dropped into her stomach. She started thinking that the truth was about to be exposed, her engagement would be broken off, and her marriage would be ruined. But what saved her was that Xiaoming suddenly remembered that his uncle was arriving from a trip today, so he took his family and they rushed to the car to go pick him up. As soon as her heroine's real family saw them together, they followed them and asked her, "How do you know him? He owns the Genda company." Her fake parents told him, "He is her future husband." "Who are you?" Her father said, "We are her family." At that, the fake parents got scared and left because our heroine's real family obviously didn't know she had hired fake parents. Anyway, her father asked her, "Your sister breaks off her engagement and you're going to get married behind our backs? What exactly are you two doing?" She told him, "Don't worry, I'm not going to invite you to the wedding anyway because I don't consider you family at all." Her father felt she was a disobedient daughter. That night, our heroine went to see her grandmother to tell her that her wedding was coming up so she could attend. But her grandmother refused and told her, "I can't move because I'm sick. It's better if I stay here and you can send me pictures of the wedding." But her heroine was upset because she wanted her grandmother to be with her at that time. Then she went inside to put some food in the refrigerator. She found the fridge full of jam jars, similar to the jars that were always in the refrigerator when she was little because their financial situation was difficult. At that, she started crying because she felt her grandmother was still living in poverty and she hadn't been able to lift her out of it. Her grandmother came in and told her, "You are a silly child. Don't cry like that again." But Shuyan hugged her and told her, "Don't worry, Grandma. I will get you out of here. I'll bring you to live in the city near me, and you'll live the best life possible." Honestly, her grandmother is the only person who deserves everything good in the world because she supported her when she was young and took care of her. She told her that the only way she would survive in this life was to complete her education. She was also the only person who was truly happy when Shuyan succeeded and got into university. One day at Xiaoming's company, after the employees had left, one of his employees, a woman, was there. She had been with him at the university, but had only recently started working there. Xiaoming was happy she was around. Suddenly, she showed him a picture of herself wearing a jacket and said, "This is the jacket you gave me before you left. You asked me to succeed abroad and come back as a better person. Well, here I am now." At that moment, our heroine was standing there listening to their conversation and felt she was facing someone who would steal her fiancé. It looked like this would be her new rival. Our heroine sent him a text message telling him she was waiting for him downstairs. He saw the message and told his colleague that he was engaged and would be getting married in a few days. She was shocked because she had returned for him, but suddenly he was getting married and all her dreams were shattered. A few days later, the critical moment arrived, the wedding day, the long-awaited moment that our heroine had wished for and finally found. Honestly, everything was going perfectly until the writer whose book our heroine had stolen and attributed to her fake father in order to impress Xiaoming's family showed up. Naturally, she started to fear that her lie would be exposed, especially since the writer knew her and came over to talk to her and congratulate her. Of course, her husband's family gathered to meet him. She told him he was a friend of her father, and she didn't mention anything about him being a writer. But her fake father made a foolish move and told him, "Come, sit with us inside and we can get to know each other," because of course, he didn't know the writer's true identity. Our heroine glared at him, wanting to eat him alive. Afterwards, she was anxious because her husband and the writer were standing alone. She didn't know what they were talking about, but her husband told her, "Go stand with them because it's rude for them to have come to congratulate you and you're not with them." She went to save the situation and elbowed her fake mother to signal her to talk to her fake husband. Eventually, they decided to spill wine on the writer so that he would have to go change his clothes and be out of sight for a while. Thankfully, the wedding went well after that. Xiaoming returned to the hotel with our heroine to sleep because they had a flight the next day for their honeymoon. When he finished showering, our heroine had already fallen asleep, but his aggressive colleague sent him a text message telling him to come down and meet her at the pool because she was drunk and might drown. He went down looking annoyed and asked her, "What are you doing?" She told him, "You know perfectly well what I'm doing. I've had a crush on you for a long time. How could you just go and get married so easily and forget what we had?" At that moment, our heroine had woken up and was watching them from the window. She saw her husband pushing her away. He told her, "You said it yourself. What we had. But there's nothing between us now because I am a married man. Please stay away from me and that's enough." The important thing is that the next day they left for their honeymoon and returned after a while happy and excited. They decided to go visit our heroine's grandmother and bring her gifts, especially since she hadn't attended the wedding. Honestly, her grandmother was very happy with them and cooked a meal for them. While standing with her in the kitchen, Xiaoming wanted to ask her about our heroine's parents, but our heroine interrupted him and said, "Come, let's hang this picture in Grandma's room together." That night, our heroine planned to sleep next to Grandma because she doesn't see her every day. Grandma told her, "Why don't you go sleep next to your husband and leave me alone?" But Shoyan replied, "No way! How can I be here and not sleep next to you?" Then she grabbed the nail clippers to trim her nails for her. Her grandmother then said, "I want to give you some news. Your father is sick. He has a tumor in his lung, and I want you to go visit him. I know he did a lot of wrong things to you, but please visit him one last time." Despite this, our heroine sent him money with a message telling him the password was his birthday for his treatment. One day, she was going with Xiaoming to show her their new house. He told her that here she could build all the connections that would allow her to succeed and climb higher in her career. So her house had to be big and beautiful, just like her. But suddenly, she saw writing on the wall. It was clear the previous owner was measuring his son's height there. Xiaoming told her, "Honestly, I didn't want to paint over this wall because I felt like it had meaning." At that, she remembered when her parents used to measure her sister's height and care about her, but not her. But miraculously, Xiaoming stopped her and took the ruler to measure her height right there. He told her that after this, they would measure their children's heights here too. She cried because she was so touched. She was finally living the life she had always wished for. As for our heroine's sister, Shaolin, she was living with two girls in an apartment after leaving her parents' house and breaking off her engagement. She was currently working part-time, but while she was at work, she fell and a bunch of cartons fell on her. The manager told her to go to the hospital and he would take care of the fallen cartons. When she went, the doctor who examined her told her to take care of herself and not to strain her hand so the pain wouldn't get worse. She told him, "If the pain gets worse, I'll come back to you and I won't pay for the session." He told her, "It's clear you haven't changed, Xiaolin." She was surprised, wondering how he knew her name. Then he took off his mask and it was Yu Ming, who was in school with her and our heroine. Honestly, she had a crush on him her whole life, but unfortunately, he was interested in our heroine and had given her a note confessing his feelings back in school, but she rejected him, saying she didn't want to get involved because she was busy with her studies. She told him she didn't want to date anyone. He felt heartbroken, so he made up an excuse and told Xiaolin, "You need to call your sister to come take care of you. It's not right for you to be sick like this and alone. If you're embarrassed to talk to her, give me her number and I'll call her for you." She realized he just wanted to see our heroine, nothing more. He even stayed by her side until our heroine arrived. The moment he saw her, he nervously jumped to his feet because she was stunning. But he saw the wedding ring on her finger and asked her if she had gotten married. She said yes, it's been a month. He congratulated her and left, his heart broken for the second time. After that, our heroine took her sister and brought her back to her house. But she was not happy that Xiaolin was sharing an apartment with 2 other girls. She told her that she absolutely had to move. So she brought people to take her sister's belongings and move her to another apartment, but her sister refused to move. So Xiaoyan told her, "By the way, Ming is going to be living next door to the apartment you're moving to, so if you don't want to live next to him, don't move there." But her sister agreed because she clearly has a crush on Ming. Then Xiaoyan went to meet Ming to check up on her sister and ask him to keep an eye on her. But at that moment, Xiaolin's angry ex-fiancé happened to be walking past the cafe. Our heroine was afraid a scandal would erupt, so she told him, "I'll tell you where she is, but walk with me quietly." And indeed, the 2 of them walked away. But the vicious presenter went to ask Ming what had happened. "Do you know them?" He told her, "I don't know them. They just bumped into me." He walked away and left her because he sensed that she hated her heroine and wanted to cause her trouble. Another time, our heroine learned that her husband was working on an important project with a high-profile figure. She decided to find out more information about him. Eventually, she got to his wife's mother, who turned out to be reserved in a nursing home and depressed, refusing to take her medication. Our heroine decided to go help her for the sake of her husband's project succeeding, but when she went to help her, she felt that the woman resembled her grandmother. This made her more affected and determined to help this woman because she deserved it. She always tried to convince her to take her medicine, but the woman would refuse, saying, "I won't take any drugs." But our heroine took care of her, making her exercise, cooking for her, and washing her hair. Her mental state improved, and she started to return to her old self and take her medication regularly. Because of this, the woman's son-in-law, while playing golf with Xiaoming, told him, "You play golf well and you're successful in your work. You also have a wife who helps you in your professional life." So asked him how she helped him exactly. He said, "She took care of my wife's mother after she became depressed, and she was the one who managed to improve her mental state. So I want you to thank her for standing by her side." Xiaoming replied, "This is the first time I'm hearing this from you. I didn't know she helped her." He was truly proud of our heroine and felt he had married the right person. Meanwhile, at the company, the nasty presenter overheard employees discussing a story about a girl who scammed her husband by hiring 2 people to pose as her parents to get an expensive dowry. Her husband eventually exposed her lie. When the presenter looked at the photos, she realized the man the girl hired was the same man who was at our heroine's wedding pretending to be her father. She became suspicious and felt that our heroine had also hired someone to pose as her father, especially since Xiaoyan had only ever mentioned her grandmother and never her parents. She decided to expose her and ask her to come on the episode where they would discuss the news about the girl who hired a fake father. Our heroine initially refused, saying she shouldn't appear in something like that, but she was forced to agree under pressure. However, the aggressive presenter had set a trap for our heroine. She started talking about her and showed a picture from her wedding that included her fake father. On top of that, she decided to host the fake father to expose Xiaoyan. Our heroine confronted her. "What are you doing? You're framing me with a false accusation." The presenter replied, "The man will come out and speak and we'll know whether it's true or not." She asked him, "Are you the man in this picture with Xiaoyan?" At that, Xiaoyan stood up and said, "No, that's enough. You've gone too far." The man then said, "No, it's not me. I was actually at the wedding of the girl who lied to her husband and took an expensive dowry, but I was not present at Xiaoyan's wedding." But the venomous presenter insisted he was lying and that he was working with Xiaoyan. Our heroine then said, "Well, I'll bring the proof that shows he's not my father." She said that the man standing next to her in the picture has a birthmark on his neck, but her father doesn't have one. She presented a picture of him and he indeed didn't have a birthmark. The presenter still insisted our heroine was a liar, but our heroine coldly threw water in her face. This was because before all this happened, when Xiaoyan saw the birthmark on her fake father's neck, she had told him, "You must hide it for the entire wedding so that if anything happens later, we can prove you're not the same person. Everyone behind the scenes, even the program manager, scolded the presenter for trying to slander our heroine. Thankfully, the episode wasn't live, so Xiaoming's family wouldn't see it. It wouldn't make it to air. Afterward, when our heroine left, the presenter tried to provoke her, saying she would prove her lies. Just then, Xiaoming was arriving to see our heroine by chance. Our heroine decided to make a malicious move. She got close to the presenter and said, "Yes, I'm a liar, but you won't be able to prove anything because I'll keep you under my heel like a dog." Then she slept her. Naturally, Xiaoming's blood boiled and our heroine started pretending to cry. He called his contacts and told them, "Set up a meeting immediately. A woman here at work is bullying my wife. You must fire her." He told the presenter that he would destroy her future so she would think 1,000 times before laying a hand on his wife again. After that, our heroine was promoted and became a news anchor. Later, while she was sitting with her husband and his family, they were happy with her and gave her a necklace as a gift because she always brought honor to them. Then, Xiaoming's little brother came in and asked his brother to come horseback riding with him, but his father refused because they had a meeting. The brother left annoyed. He told them, "You're always too busy for me." But our heroine told him, "Wait, I'll come with you." He asked her, "What do you know about horses anyway?" and walked away, leaving her there. Even the next day in the garden, her mother-in-law was annoyed because she was getting a lot of messages from her younger son's school principal because he had caused trouble there. Our heroine went to ask her what was wrong. When she found out what happened, she told her, "You can add me to that group and I'll try to go to the school and solve the problem." She did go to see what the issue was, acting as if she were his mother. Afterward, she went to the stable to encourage him in his horseback riding, but he was reckless and wanted to do something stupid, like falling off the horse just so his parents would pay attention to him. And sure enough, he broke his leg and his parents stayed with him at the hospital, but they didn't stay long and left for an important meeting. Only our heroine and the nurse assigned to him remained with him. He got angry at the nurse and threw his food in her face, so she left. At that point, our heroine began to feel that he was just like her when she was little because she felt the same emotions he was feeling now. That's why she decided to try and deal with the boy in a way that would make all his energy focus on her. For example, she started treating him harshly and said, "I'm in charge of you, so if you don't listen to me, there's no food." But he kept ordering her around, saying, "Bring me food, bring me water." She brought him what he asked for, but he was still angry and holding his stomach. She asked him, "What's wrong?" He said, "I need to use the bathroom." She told him, "Come on, I'll take you." But he said, "You're obviously not going to just stand there and watch me pee." So she said, "Fine, I'll turn my face the other way." After that, while she was sitting there, he was watching her. She told him, "How about we play games for 30 minutes? He agreed enthusiastically, but she told him she wanted to show him something first. She showed him a picture of himself riding the horse, and he was impressed because it was a beautiful shot. She also found out which person he liked to ride with most. This made him warm up to her more. At night, after he had fallen asleep, Xiaomin came to check on him. She told him, "I want to show you something. Your brother fell off the horse on purpose." She opened a video for him to watch and explained that his brother needed attention from him and his parents. That's why he was trying to get their attention by falling and hurting himself. They all needed to give him some of their time. She even showed the parents the drawings he was making and how aggressive they were because they weren't paying attention to him. She asked them to pay more attention to him because a happy childhood heals you for life, but an unhappy childhood takes years to recover from.
And indeed, from that day on, they were constantly by his side in the hospital. His aunt was feeding him, and his uncle told him he would sign him up for the equestrian club, and everyone was gathered around him, caring for him. The boy was very happy. At that, her husband thanked our heroine because she was the reason for all this. Because of that, he bought her a very luxurious car because she had worked so hard for them. But she told him, "We're family and we should take care of each other, so you don't have to buy me gifts every time I do something." He replied, "No, you deserve it, and I'll get you everything you wish for." She told him, "You are the only thing I wish for." God bless that sweet talk and all that romance. One day at the family house, her mother-in-law's friend, Meng, brought someone with her who wanted to seek an investment from Xiaoming. The man said he worked in technology and the medical field, but our heroine wasn't comfortable with him because he knew her well. He was a former colleague, and he also knew her family and that she was lying to Xiaoming. She told her mother-in-law that she was getting up to fetch some hot water. At that, he followed her and tried to blackmail her. He told her, "Convince your husband to invest in my project or I'll turn your life upside down." She told him, "What you're doing isn't legal. I'm not going to let my husband invest in something like that because you're a failure and a scammer. I know this very well." She threw the water at him. He said, "Good thing it wasn't hot." He told her, "I would have made you pay a steep price. Just consider the dry cleaning money part of the the investment funds. The next day, at our heroine's house, while she was with Xiaoming in the garden, the despicable ex-colleague suddenly showed up. He said, "I'm sorry I'm late." Xiaoming didn't understand who he was, but the man said, "Xiaoyan invited me here today." But she hadn't invited him at all. He was just putting her on the spot. She told her husband, "Oh, I got busy and forgot he was coming today." Our husband told him, "Please join us for lunch," and he took him inside. Naturally, the man kept babbling, saying he knew our heroine's parents and talked to them all the time. Our husband said, "Great, we should definitely meet up regularly." Our heroine got annoyed and went to the bathroom. At that moment, the man tried to talk to Xiaoming about the investment, but Xiaoming cut him off and said, "We can talk about it after lunch." Honestly, I feel like her husband knows something and is helping her. Anyway, as soon as she came out of the bathroom, the scumbag tried to blackmail her again, saying, "I hope you help me and convince your husband so I don't expose you to him." She told him, "I won't let you drag my husband into this mess with you because you are a fraud." He replied, "Fine, if you're not afraid of your husband, then I'll expose you online so everyone who doesn't know will find out." That night, he kept calling her and threatening her. Her husband asked her, "Who are you talking to so late?" She said, "It's just work, nothing more." He came over to tell her that there were more important things than work. He picked her up and they went upstairs, so she turned off her phone. Of course, the jerk was furious because she had warned him to stay away. The next day, he went to the parking garage and tried to assault her and threaten her, but her sister came to defend her and told him, "Get away from her." She told Xiaoyan, "Call the police, there are cameras here." So he left quietly. But he didn't calm down after that. He kept calling all the time until our heroine had his assistant called a man. He told him that Xiaoming agreed to the investment, but on the condition that he would take a higher percentage of the profits and that he wouldn't invest in his own name. He would have an agent outside the country invest on his behalf. The man immediately agreed. 4 months later, life was going well. They woke up in the morning and were having breakfast when her husband showed her the news that her ex-colleague had been arrested for using his company for illegal activities. Thank God Xiaoming didn't invest in his own name, or he would have suffered a great loss. Our heroine felt that someone was always helping her, but she didn't know who it was. But frankly, I feel like her husband is the one who is always helping her, and it looks like he knows something and will turn out to be the ultimate mastermind. Anyway, that night she went to Xiaoming while he was working and asked him, why would a friend lie to her wife? And should he tell her the truth or not? He said, "Just come sit here. Aren't they happy now?" Then no, he shouldn't tell her, because that lie will be a thorn in their marriage. They need to protect this marriage. Then he told her, "Forget your friends for a bit and focus on me. There are important clients, including a journalist, that I want details about. Could you help me?" One day, he was going to a party. He was invited by the client he wanted to work with on a project. He saw the pushy girl who likes him trying to get close to Jiang, the person he wants to work with on his project. She put tomato sauce on a date and told him it would lessen the effect of sugar in his blood. Our husband remembered when his ex-girlfriend used to do the same thing. This is because the aggressive girl is his ex-girlfriend's sister. That's why he hasn't been able to completely cut ties with her. He was a little jealous because she was standing with Jiang, so he went over to talk to her. He told her, "There's no need for you to get close to him." She told him, "I will do anything to make this project succeed and to be useful to you." Then our heroine arrived wearing work clothes that weren't suitable for the party. Honestly, this made Jiang very impressed with her. Even the journalist that our husband had asked our heroine to find information about was impressed with her outfit because it reminded her of herself when she first started working in journalism. She told Xiaoyan, "You look very dedicated to your work." Xiaoyan replied, "I just came from work, so I didn't have time to change." But the journalist took her inside with her to give her one of her dresses. This brought them closer together. The aggressive girl, meanwhile, was standing drinking with Jiang and his friends until she got sick and went to the bathroom to throw up. Our husband followed her in, looking annoyed. He told her, "I feel worthless. Your wife is beautiful and smart and managed to win over the journalist, but I couldn't even talk to her because she's arrogant. But now I understand why you married her and preferred her over me." He went out to get her some milk to settle her stomach. One day, he had prepared a surprise for our heroine and set up a romantic atmosphere because it was her birthday. But the aggressive sister of his ex-girlfriend called him and told him, "Today is my sister's birthday." He went to see her son because he had grown and was now tall. Xiaoming yelled at her, "How could you go to him?" and rushed out to go to her. It seems her nephew is Xiaoming's son too. That's why he left so upset. But when he arrived, she told him, "I apologize for interrupting your romantic time, but isn't it shameful that you left me and got married so easily? You and I have a bond that can never be broken." He told her, "Wake up from your delusions, and for your sister's sake, leave me alone." She said, "Fine, then I'll go to my sister myself." And she drank some medicine to kill herself. He quickly picked her up to save her because she's crazy and might actually take the medicine. Afterwards, he returned home where our heroine was waiting for him. He told her, "I'm sorry, I had an urgent work matter come up and I had to leave, but I will make up for this day." birthday. The truth is, he was suffering, especially since it was the birthday of his ex-girlfriend who died in a diving accident, which was the tragedy that broke his heart.
Anyway, one day our heroine went to visit Xiaoming at work so they could go out for dinner together. He took her and they were about to leave, but one of his employees, whom he had fired for betraying the company, tried to talk to him, wanting to stay because he couldn't find a job outside. But our husband refused and told him, "You are fired. Don't even try with me. You have no place here." Our heroine noticed the employee pulling out a knife, so she defended her husband and got wounded in the hand instead. But our husband hit the employee and told him, "You just brought ruin upon yourself. You're going to jail today." The next morning, he asked her if her arm was okay. Then he gave her an unlimited credit card, but she refused it because she felt that every time she did something for him, he compensated her with money. She didn't like that. Seriously, that's enough to get anyone worked up. Take the money and be quiet. Who finds pampering and then refuses to be pampered? Clearly, she has integrity. Anyway, one day he had a dinner appointment with the aggressive girl who likes him and her father to finalize the partnership contract. The girl got extremely drunk and he took her home afterward. She tried to get close to him and kiss him, but he pulled away because he received a call from his secretary who told him that her father had already signed the contract with his lawyer. At that, he left her and was about to walk away, but she said, "Where are you going? Wait." He told her, "Your father has signed the contract, so I don't need anything else from you." She was upset that he had used her and asked, "The whole time, you were just doing this to get the contract signed with my dad." He replied, "Now that you know the truth, it's better to face reality." But she decided to not stay quiet. She went to where our heroine was picking up Xiaoming's little brother from school and said, "I really admire that you're picking up his brother from school and trying to take care of him. But what you don't know is that he's not his brother. He's his son. And he's also my nephew because Xiaoming was dating my sister a long time ago and they had a child. At that time, Xiaoming's family took the child and raised him as their son because they were afraid of the rumors. After a while, her sister died in a diving accident." She continued, "That's why he married you, just for show, on paper, so you could be a facade in front of people. Even though you're not suitable for him, he found you smart and noticed you, so he decided to marry you. And he's even using you now to take care of his son." Just then, Hao Chen came out of the school and ran to her, happily, but Shoyan felt her whole life crumbling. When she returned home, she confronted him with the truth and said, "How could you hide something like this from me, have a child, and lie so brazenly?" He replied, "Are we going to pretend with each other or what? You also lied to me about your parents, and it turns out they don't study abroad or anything. Do you think I'm stupid? I knew everything from the beginning, but I pretended not to notice. I let you into my life because you are patient, resilient, and smart. If I had married a girl from a reputable family, she wouldn't have tolerated the truth that I have a child. So let's keep our marriage as just a front in front of people." She asked him, "Did you ever love me? I understand now. You never loved me from the start. That's why you always gave me money, jewelry, and a car after every nice thing I did for you, because you saw it as just a reward, not real love." She left to get some air, thinking about what to do. Then he went to her and asked, "So, what have you decided?" She said, "If you want a divorce, I have no problem." He told her he didn't want a divorce because he had an important party coming up and it would affect the company. It was better for her to attend the party with him without showing any signs of their conflict. She agreed to stay with him until after the party. But one day she came home to find him ready with food and wearing a beautiful dress. She told him, "I know you think I married you for your money and status, but I genuinely love you and I want to be with you for you, not for your money or your position." She said, "I could tell you, fine, let's continue our marriage as a mutual benefit, but that's not what I want. I want your love for me." She moved closer to him suddenly, but he backed away and said, "Forget this nonsense. Love doesn't put food on the table. Come on, sit down, let's eat." She did sit down, crying while eating and accepting her fate because she had no other choice. She had spent her whole life wishing for her parents' love, and when they couldn't love her, she sought love elsewhere. But even her husband didn't love her. This is truly a very difficult trauma. On the day of the party, the aggressive girl was there, sitting with them at the table. Our heroine deliberately acted sweetly and took a picture with her so that if Xiaoming ever thought of cheating with her, they would both be completely exposed in the press. Later, there was an auction for a very expensive piece of jewelry. The bidding rose to $1,600,000. Our heroine decided to jump the bid and announce $3 million. Her husband was shocked because he would be the one stuck paying for it. After she got the ring, the aggressive girl was fuming. Shoyan told her, "So, do you like the ring? If you like it, take it." She went and acted like she was putting it on the girl's finger. Then she grabbed her husband's arm to leave, but he told her, "That's enough of what you're doing. Don't you realize that?" She interrupted, "Didn't you tell me to be presentable in front of people?" When they returned home, she approached him with a divorce agreement ready. She told him, "Let's separate peacefully. I don't want a single penny from you." But he said, "You know that when we separate, the car, the jewelry, the maid, the house, all of this won't be available to you anymore." She told him, "Those things were never mine anyway, so I don't want them." But he was surprised and told him, "Naturally, you're working as a presenter now, so you've secured yourself, but I can ruin your career. He quickly recorded a voice note to the channel manager saying he would cancel his sponsorship of the channel, but he didn't send it. He asked her, "So, what do you think? Should I send it, or will you retract your decision to divorce?" She immediately called the aggressive girl and told her, "Stay away from my husband, or I will expose you to the press and everyone that you're in a relationship with him while we're married." Then he deleted the voice note. She hung up the call and told him, "I don't think you'd like us to tarnish each other's reputations, so let's separate quietly." One day, Xiaoming was at the company, and the aggressive girl was following him, saying, "You're getting divorced? See? She never loved you and was only after your money. She was even after the money she'd get after the divorce." Just then, our heroine walked into the company. When the venomous girl saw her, she quickly grabbed Xiaoming's arm, but our heroine didn't stay silent and slapped her. She said, "Who told you we're divorced? I told you to stay away from him so you don't become a homewrecker and a third party in this relationship." The girl was about to chase after her and yell, but Xiaoming pulled her back and said, "She's right. Her and I had a minor disagreement, but that doesn't mean that we're going to get divorced. So listen to her and don't be a homewrecker." I just love a man who stands by his wife, even if he's the one who was in the wrong.
But he said that he was satisfied with her, and so were all of our viewers on the channel. Anyway, people, do you think Xiaoyan and Xiaoming's relationship will end well? Or will he fall in love with her later and realize he can't live without her? Or maybe a third party will appear, make our heroine fall in love with him, and steal her away from Xiaoming, dragging us into the jealous struggles and love triangles that we adore. We'll find out all of this in part 2, so if you check my channel now, you can find part 2 waiting for you. But don't forget to subscribe and also tell me your opinion on this part, sweethearts. Do you think Xiaoming will stay with her or not?